Hello and welcome, as today's date comes in that of Wednesday, the 10th day of June 2020. Go over silver very quickly and then even talk relatively quickly about fantasy sports. The subject that I'm going to be given in fantasy sports is how to win at golf. I will give 20, I don't know if it's easy steps or not because you're going to need a spreadsheet to do it, to win in the game, and many of those steps include that work. All bets, trades, are the like within each's own risk and their own reward. So as I've been stating that this has been holding yesterday's video, I like how this has been holding, and so far today it looked like silver I thought was up I guess the other one's up 1%. It was up more earlier, I suppose, but market had a breakout earlier today at 7 o'clock in the morning, had us come back to where this came from. Resistance at 5 o'clock 2 days ago, resistance from 4 p.m. the same day, resistance again from yesterday's morning at 8 o'clock. I guess you could say last night at midnight, 1 in the morning rather. And now it's down to this area of support. So, and when you have a situation like this where you have one leg higher like this, noticeable, quick comeback, I mean, that's not much of a move. It's a statement stating that it's ready to progress this market higher. And in times, there's going to be just one move higher, come back to like the 18 average, form a resistance kind of thing. So it's either that or it's a failed breakout. If it's a failed breakout, you not only should expect it to come down to previous key support level, which is about 1770, but even possibly make a new leg lower, most likely make a leg lower, which the previous low is in at 1740. It does seem as if this thing, I mean, should be ready to get going. I really like how this has been resisting and how it's been playing amongst this 18.5. And in a breakout of such, I think the potential for this is very, very large. And I'm just holding the physical metal, silver, gold, but mainly silver. I put that in a safe for 2 years, let alone 5, 10, and I'm going to be very confident it's going to hold its value. Let's assume, hypothetically, I'm not unable to open it for 700 days or something. And I can put physical silver in it. I can put physical gold in it. That's, I think, going to do well. But if I put physical fiat currency, $100 and $20 bills in, I mean, they could be buying a lot less in 2 years as it is today. It's definitely in that high risk caliber because of such. And even the cryptocurrency, I could put the private keys for a funded cryptocurrency. And if I have a couple of Bitcoin on one account, I look at it 2 years later, I expect that 2 Bitcoin to still be there. I'm 100% certain pretty much that it would be there. But what kind of value it would have, I mean, it could be explosively large if it goes up multiple folds with its volatility. But to me, gold and silver present its only guarantee. Now on to daily fantasy. And I'm going to explain, this is within DraftKings and only on DraftKings, how to win the game. It's the PGA Tour starting, tomorrow is an event starting Thursday. It's 4 days. So how it works is you play Thursday and Friday, and then a percentage of the field or a certain amount of people will move on to the final 2 days. So a large amount of sample fields will play on the Thursday, Friday session. So how to win at fantasy golf. I'm presenting 20 steps that will make you a winner in PGA fantasy. Step number 1, register for the 1 o'clock late round PGA Tour with many lineups. If you want to just play 1 or 2 or 3, you got an edge there as well, depending on, of course, how you're playing. I like playing more lineups. Step number 2, at or shortly after 7:50 in the morning, go to the Millionaire Maker $20 game and download the file. You export the CSV file, will come up, and then a spreadsheet will come in, but it's only a read-only file, so you have to copy and paste the entire spreadsheet into a new one since you're going to modify and play around with it. Search for, or step 4, it's to get to work on the search, that would be for, but search by player name and only find entries that are played by username mpendle. So you scroll down to where the M section is in chronological order, and there will be 150 rows of them. So once you get to that, copy them, I didn't say copy here, but copy those 150 and paste those names into a new spreadsheet. Or new sheet, it can be the same one you got. It's just you want to keep that one there in case you need to use those exact data. And we will have to go back for that data later on in another step. Step number 6, copy and paste the lineups into this like a notepad. And then replace the G section and we replace it with spaces. So you want to make sure when you look at the text file, you'll have the golfer's name, comma, golfer's name, comma, golfer's name. And then once that's the case, you want to paste them back into a neat new sheet, and there should be 6 different columns. And all you're seeing is just names. It's a brand new sheet. And now step 8, put the names into one column where there is 900 names or rows that is used. So I'll take like column B, I'll cut it, everything like column B to F or whatever, and then I'll paste it at A151. And then I'll do it again, take column B and I'll paste it at A301, and so on and so forth. All 700 and 900 of them rather are in one row. And then I'll sort it by column name again. So A to Z, it doesn't matter if it's which order it's in, if it's descending or ascending, that's irrelevant. Step 10, in cell 1, I want to type in equals if C1 is not equal to C2, then post to me, actually no, that's not right, it's equals, if A1 is not equal to A2, then I want you to give me A1. Else, give me nothing, which is 2 quotation marks. What this is doing is asking the computer, is there a new name coming next? If the answer is yes, post the name. If not, we'll wait till it's there. And for the time being, I'm just going to put 1 in cell D1. And you actually don't even have to put 1 in that number. You could, I suppose you should, just in case C1 is, the first ones that played just once. But anyway, in cell D2, you want to type equals, if A1 is equal to A2, which means they're the exact same, then I want my counter to go up 1. And that's what the counter, that's what the cell D is, the counter for 1. So D1 plus 1. So if they're going to play the same guy 15 times, you're going to see the number go up to 15. And if not, if it's a brand new entry, well then we're going to start a new counter, give me 1. And then you copy and paste. Then you also copy C1 to C2. So the first 2 rows, C2 should either have the name or nothing. And D2 would have this you just typed in. And actually, you need to, I guess there might be 21 steps, but copy and paste this to all the way down. So copy and paste lower. So then what's going to happen, it's going to be for 900 rows, of course. And if there's a little click sound, sorry for that, is it just a small click on the mic. That was not spelled correct. 13, if I spelled it with the H sound. Copy C1 to D900, which is where you're going to see where you put these formulas in, and you paste it somewhere else, a paste special, because if you paste it normally, all the formulas will screw it up. And then you sort by column players, which means what's going to happen is it's going to be sorted, say, A to Z or Z to A. And you're going to see like A like 20 times. So you can see all the weird numbers like 29, 30, 60. You can see a whole bunch of different numbers. And then you only want to highlight players that are in those named rows. And then sort it by the times. So now they do it in descending order from highest to lowest. And then what I'm going to do is beside, I'm going to, on the row where how many times that number comes in, I'm going to divide that by 150. This will give me the percentage in which that player, which is M. Pendle, is playing that particular golfer. Step 17. I want to find the ownership of these players, which is very easy to get. You go to the original spreadsheet. On the right-hand side, they will say the golfers that were played and the percentage in which they were owned, as well as their current points. And if it's early in the day, as if those number stats, they don't mean anything. You just care about the name and ownership. And then you want to make a spreadsheet that has the following columns. The player name, which is the golfer name. I guess I should play golfer because we're talking about M. Pendle, I guess, is a player as well. The public percentage, which they're going to tell you on the first sheet what percentage they were owned in the regular full game by the entire mass field. And then the percentage you just calculated, which is this one here, for how M. Pendle did it. And then you sort and format your columns to your liking. But again, the only ones you need are these 3 numbers. You don't need any other ones. And then you, at this point, you can edit your lines and make mass lineups. Play guys with a much higher ownership percentage over the field. So if you're seeing stuff like a particular golfer was played 18% and he's playing them 30%, well, that means he likes them for whatever reason. it is. I don't care the reason. Or if he's playing him 10% or 7% compared to an 18% field. He's not as enthusiastic, especially if he's not playing him at all. And then you got someone that might be owned like 3-4%. Or any of those cheap-ass low-price guys, and he's got 20-30%, a high number. Well, he must think that that's a very good value player. Now, who is this M. Pendle player? Well, what I did is for a few days, I would just download games and get the results and then run a statistical session to see which players were doing the best. And M. Pendle was dominating, to say the least. So he was the player, or the fantasy player, that I thought would be worth tailing. I then searched along the games and just see what games he's playing this weekend, at least on tomorrow and Thursday. He's got about 20,000-30,000 on the line. I don't know if this is Pat Mayo or if this is, I think it's Mr. Freeberg, or I think the guy, one of his golf hosts. I don't know if it's some other rich, amazing, smart person that just happens to know what it is, but I'll know who this player likes and doesn't, and then play my lineups accordingly. And then I can do this every single day on Thursday to Sunday, because Friday I can download the game again, and I'll be more interested to see, because for what it's worth, I can jump in the Friday morning all-day game, because I got to figure a lot of these players in which he likes or doesn't like, it's going to be that way for the entire weekend. So that is why I'm going to be considering it. It's this information is good for the weekend. So I want to not only take a look at guys that he's playing for the late slate, but the entire field, because it starts at 7:50 in the morning. So the game starts around 8. So that means some golfers will start at 8, 8:30, 9, 9:30. So all the golfers that start before 1 o'clock will be already cut off at that time, but they'll be still good moving forward into the next day. It'll be very important on Saturday, when the game changes a little bit how he plays and the adjustments I'll be making. I think there'd be little adjustments from Thursday to Friday, but Friday to Saturday would have a lot more along the way. So that would be the fantasy update on how to win at golf. As I remember in school, they actually taught us to quote unquote not copy people. They said it was cheating. And you don't copy people, it's just do it yourself. Well, what I'm doing myself is a lot of work and a lot of skill and a lot of understanding to be able to get to the point of just understanding of how to figure out statistics, how to figure who's doing well, know how to, and then this, what I just mentioned, knowing how to do that, and then of course now explaining it. But when you're copying somebody, you want to copy somebody that's actually going to get a good grade or is damn good, which is really the exact idea upon it. Now, with other games, it may not work as good, like say Counter-Strike Go, a video game. You could download find out who the best players are, find out their picks for all day for 5 games or whatever, and then you can still play the last 2 or 3 games. So you're looking to see which the one's the player, but the thing about that, there's a lot of intricacies on how players go together. In golf, you really don't have that. No, the result of one golfer does not affect at all, really at all. At least not on other than a micro advanced psychological level, but really then, it doesn't affect how another player does. So if one golfer does really good or bad, then that shouldn't change the effect. The reason why it might have a bit is because if someone's doing good or bad, that might motivate them or result in someone having a little bit of a different result score than normal. But for what it's worth, it's how that one player manages to go. And in other sports, you're looking to get guys that can play together. In basketball, when one guy gets a lot of assists, and if the score is a 20-point game, how do players go and not go against each other? In baseball, putting guys that hit together. I don't explain too many strategies on how to win, but in baseball, if you have the number 3 hitters and 4 hitters that go together, one guy gets on, the other guy brings them in. The stats go together. Yesterday, I mentioned I thought how the NC Dinos would score a lot of runs. They scored 1. And my overpick was still a winner. Over-under was like 8.5 or 9. The final score was 9-1 for Dojin, I think it's pronounced. I don't know how it's not Dojin, it's Dojin, I think. But anyway, with 9-1, that means all the stacks together on NC did terrible. And all the stacks on Dojin together could do very good. And what you're looking for oftentimes are things that if this stack goes good, what would be good with it? Or what is bad with it that you would want to fade? And in golf, you don't got any of that. which is why when you're taking their names that they're playing, then it's simply he knows something, or she, probably he, something or another, that it's a good play or not. And yeah, if he's putting in like that, or again, that player is putting in $20,000 plus in so many different games I've just went through over and over and over again. Thousands and thousands of over 1,000 lineups. So there is a decent chance that he's putting up this time and the stakes for good reason, because he knows he's damn good and he's going to win long term. And he expects, and he probably does, generate a positive ROI. So to me, I should be able to get like if I believe he can get like a 40% ROI, then if I know who he's playing, I should be able to come with 20 or 30. That's if I know his strategy of who he's playing. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.